All right, welcome back, everyone. We are continuing the Great Trap when we left off moments ago. We had two of our investigators meet a grisly end at the tentacles, maybe, of an invisible something. So Flint Larson and Julia Chase succumbed to their injuries, while Spencer Raistlin and Dr. Song made it inside the Kreuz Observatory, and they just heard someone speak to them over loudspeakers. And then when they turn around from the front doors, they see. Well, let's find out what they see. Al, tell us about Flint.
Well, you guys, I think Flint had a brown jacket that he took up with him as you guys were heading up to the observatory. This Flint, it looks like him in every exact way, but is wearing a gray jacket.
And Flint, the last thing that you remember, if you're wondering, like, oh, what do I remember of the last 30 seconds or so? Well, you ran into the observatory. You were chased by an invisible something, and you ran into the observatory. You made it. Well done. Bridget, tell us about Julia.
Yeah, Julia physically looks the same. Her attire has changed noticeably. She's wearing all black. The way that the suit is almost cut looks ceremonial. And she's wearing several pieces of jewelry and amulet on her chest, and there's embroidery on her jacket, and everything looks like a fleur-de-lis. The smirk is gone, and now she has like dead shark-looking eyes.
And you too also remember running along with Flint. You were faster than your companions were, and so you sort of got in right before they did. But you had every expectation that they were going to come in behind you. So you're not really surprised to see these people. Maybe they look different a little from what you were expecting. But I'll describe the room you are in, if you like, or if you wish to have any personal interactions. Maybe you're a little too busy to look at the room right now.
Is the door How did you get in here ahead of us?
I'm faster than you.
Yeah, I'm a lot faster than you, Spencer.
Yes, but you were behind us. Surely.
Yes.
No, that would never happen. I know you call me the old man, but I am quite a bit more spry than you.
Well, I suppose you must have run past me, and I didn't notice in all the confusion. Is that door?
Well, why are you thinking this?
What do you mean?
Why do you?
I could have sworn we were ahead of you.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, you started off. You grabbed me by the arm, Miss Chase. You dragged me forward, and then I managed to take a few steps ahead of you on that thing, whatever it was, and I suppose I just sort of lost track of what's going on, and then you must have run past us. Although I could have sworn the door was closed when we reached it, Dr. Soon.
So, well, what do you remember happening?
Well, much the same thing that Mr. Raceland described.
Okay.
Why? Is there something wrong?
You began this line of inquiry, Dr. Weston. She always calls you Spencer. Apparently you're Dr. Weston now.
Well,
Just remember you're wearing something slightly different. You had on your different glasses.
well, no, these are the glasses I've been wearing all day.
No, you had on your circular glasses.
I concur.
They broke yesterday. That's why I'm wearing these ones. What's going on here?
Do I look any different to you?
Not that I can recall. Same as ever, I suppose.
Changed your jacket.
What jacket do you remember me wearing?
The brown one.
I don't even own a brown one.
Wait a minute. So let's get this straight before we go any further. What do you recall happening since we left the scene of the accident further down the road?
We ran ahead of you. We got in here. We assumed you had outrun whatever that thing was.
I didn't even know what it was. It was just some wind or something. I don't know. It's just like a whirlwind or something, a tornado or something, I suppose.
Well, crushed that car.
Yes, I thought it was going to get you.
What car?
I think we might be dealing with what Osterman was describing. The different times, right?
The different threads overlapping.
Right. If they're all overlapping, then I mean,
Perhaps we should see if we can find his machine. Maybe that will straighten things out a little.
Well, as you ponder this, you have a moment to take in the surroundings of the entrance hall. You have the schematic for the observatory in your notes, and so the entrance hall is going to be bedecked in the way the rest of the observatory is. So this is incredibly ostentatious. There are going to be sculpted gargoyles and astrological symbolism, everywhere you look. In this room, in particular, there's a couple of additional items of interest, however. You can see kind of the means of ingress and egress on your schematic. There's a kind of double doors going to the west, double doors going to the east, and then this kind of side door. There's also a lavatory. But beyond that, there is hanging from the ceiling a skeleton. It could be multiple skeletons. The pieces seem quite disjointed. It doesn't make any obvious sense how they would go together. Whatever it is quite large. And Julia, you don't recall seeing whatever that thing was outside. That said, there's something familiar here, and all of you may notice the 5 circular-toed bone structure of whatever may have made the indentation outside, and you connect it and realize maybe you're looking at what you were just running from. In addition to that, there is a lovely, well, I think it's lovely anyway, a lovely portrait here that I will share if I can successfully navigate. There we are. That's going to be at the bottom of your notes. There's going to be a portrait that's hanging here in the entrance hall.
So, the events as I recollect them, and please tell me if anything is different from your perspective. Events as I recollect them are, we were driving towards the observatory. Miss Peasley was at the wheel. There was some sort of burst of energy, shockwave or something that hit the car. Car went off the road. Poor Miss Peasley was thrown through the window and evidently didn't survive. We decided we would walk the remaining mile or so up to the observatory to find a telephone, to telephone an ambulance, the police, that sort of thing. As we approached the observatory, we noticed that one of the domes, the south tower, I think, appeared to be missing from the observatory. And as we saw that, the north tower, it was another one of these bursts of energy or whatever it was, explosions. The north tower disappeared, and then we were hit by this wave. I was blown off my feet, and then shortly thereafter, this wind, this whatever it was, appeared to be heading towards us at an incredible speed, and we took to our heels and we ran. You, Miss Chase, you grabbed hold of me to try and drag me forward, and Dr. Soon outpaced us all with the speed that she ran. I'm not quite sure what happened to you, Mr. Larson. And then, as Dr. Soon and I reached the doors, we flung the door open, we went inside, closed the doors behind us, and you were somehow standing in front of us. Dr. Soon, is that the way you remember it?
Well, largely, although you did miss out the part where we saw ourselves in a car, then suddenly getting crushed by this creature.
No, I didn't see that. I saw a depression in the ground where it looked like there was some force that impacted it, but I didn't see a car.
Now, I saw the same thing as Dr. Soon, and it all happened as you described, but as I remember it, I was able to get ahead, and Julia was able to get ahead as well, and we assumed that you guys were following right behind us.
Miss Chase, which version do you recall, or do you recall something separate or different?
She's looking at you with these deadpan, just dark black eyes, and she says, I cannot fathom a reality where I would assist you in a chase for the death. Those who are unable to defend themselves should be called from this world.
That's quite a forthright statement, Miss Chase, and if I may say so, it's a little out of character.
Julia's always saying things like that.
No, she's not.
I believe it's from her time in the cult.
Yes, the daughters of Machiavelli.
That wasn't. I think there's definitely something going on here. That is not the name of.
What do you guys remember the cult to be?
I can't recall the name of it. It wasn't that. Dr. Soon, do you recall the name of the organization that is now I believe it is now a bed and breakfast?
Children of Pythagoras. That was the name. I remember the mathematical connection.
So we are definitely dealing with some sort of these time
Overlapping threads.
Overlapping threads. I'm not sure that I'm quite the version.
This is quite extraordinary.
Many of us are quite the versions of ourselves we remember.
Has our objective or mission changed in any way?
Well, that's a good question. What is your objective?
Keeper, I'm correct. It's the same objective, correct? We're here to investigate the observatory on behalf of...
Yep. Adhemar Osterman, you met the guy, things got weird, went into convulsions, strange purple mist. Yep, all of that tracks.
Well, I suggest that we all then work together. I wish that, for all intents and purposes, I am your Flint, your man Flint.
And to your recollection, do we all belong to the esoterics?
University of Chicago.
Yes. Well, that much is the same then.
Yes.
Wow. What am I?
I think we need to take a look around. Start with this painting.
Well, it appears to be a possible time I had slightly worse fashion sense.
Do you think this is Walter and Ursula?
Well, Dr. Sung, if you explore it, there's going to be a couple of things that happen. The first thing is you can see a plaque underneath the painting that probably answers your question. It's titled in a sort of brass plaque, "Bearers of the Silver Keys, Walter and Ursula Kreuz," and it is dated 1892. But as you cross the entrance hall, Dr. Sung, to take a closer look, you can't read the plaque from all the way at the other end of the entrance hall, so you need to get closer. Something happens. Can you give me a power roll?
Uh-oh.
50, that's a pass.
Okay. You are going to lose 1 magic point.
Okay.
And you feel a sense of lethargy as you cross roughly halfway across the room. And so aware are you sort of look to yourself to see if anything happened, because it kind of takes your breath away for a moment. And you spot, going across the room, from the doors going to the eastern hall to the doors going to the western hall, there is it sort of looks like dust particles in the air, But imagine if you had a flashlight, right? Going back to the flashlight, or a torch, and it shined the light, and you could sort of see these little particles of dust in that light. Now take away the light, and you are still left with those dust particles. You see a stream of these dust particles going across the room, very difficult to see. You know, because you were so aware of this change that happened when you crossed through. They're at about 2.5, 3 feet in height, so sort of perfect torso level for going through. Um, and yeah, they are just slowly moving from the east to the west.
Where are we at now? We're in the entrance hall, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, I think that whatever Walter is up to, he must be doing it, and I think he must be in the equatorial room. I think we need to get our bearings a bit first, and then figure out what exactly is going on here, so that we can get things straight.
Do you think that voice we heard coming from the speakers from the walls? Do you think that was Walter Kreuz?
Yes.
Yes.
If we're heading down the West Hall, I think you should all duck. There's something in the air.
Yeah, and when Dr. Sung brings it to your attention, you all will be able to see this as well. But without, stumbling through, you might have missed it.
A question occurs to me. The young woman in the painting on the wall there, does she look familiar at all to us?
I do not think so, no.
So she doesn't remind us of Miss Virginia Peasley.
She does not. Though I am very fond of how much you have enjoyed speaking with Miss Peasley.
My best guess as to what is that is probably Ursula, his sister, and this is all some attempts to get her back or something. I'm not sure, and so I don't know if I want to go directly to see him. I kind of want to see if there's something I can't learn more about the situation before.
Yes, forewarned is forearmed, as they say.
Yeah, before confronting Walter about this.
Well, it would certainly seem that something occurred in 1892, and then something else occurred in 1897. And in the first instance, this Kreutz was injured in some way, and in the second, something caused his sister to disappear. Now, perhaps she did simply die, but perhaps something more mysterious happened to her, something more arcane. And as you say, perhaps he is attempting to find a way to bring her back. Certainly, when I came across him 4 or 5 years ago, he was looking for some references, some tomes of very, very esoteric nature. In fact, one of the books that he was looking for, I actually have in my possession even as we speak, and it is not one that I would expect to find in a lending library for the general populace, shall we say.
My house, my wife and I built a small lending library on the outside, and I just imagined how awesome it would be if you looked at it. It's like Azathoth and others.
Oh, unspeakable cults.
Oh yeah.
Now that is a book I do have in my possession.
Well, where would you like to explore first then? It sounds like you are potentially splitting the party, or are you all going in a particular way? No, I can't make that a fetching suggestion.
I'm very interested in what's happened in either the South or the North Tower, because. Am I right in thinking that when we saw the tower with the dome missing, and when the dome, whatever happened to it, they didn't actually explode? There wasn't debris thrown around. They more kind of, there was a shockwave, and then they just weren't there.
So there would have been some debris, and maybe even as you were running across the field towards the observatory, there would have been bits of masonry in the grass. But what is true is the towers themselves did not explode. Only the tops of the domes kind of blew outwards.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we can head to the East Hall, and then we know that there's that storage room, there's those towers, and there's a laboratory. So we'd be able to look at all of them.
All right. Who's leading the way then into the East Hall?
Our man Flint.
Okay. Flint, go ahead and give us a listen roll.
Okay. Failure.
Okay, great. You open the door, and what greets you is just an incredible booming sound. Dozens of voices all yelling, "Surprise!" And there is a party. There are dozens of guests, all very well dressed, maybe not in the most contemporary of clothing, but all very fine. And there is a banner above them, sort of angled so that you can see it as you go in. And it reads, "Remembering the Chicago World's Fair and commemorating the opening of the Kreuz Observatory, 1897. There are further banners on the wall celebrating the telescope's display. You see sort of waiters, bringing around champagne flutes. You will be offered a tray with champagne flutes as well. And yeah, you're greeted, but after the initial surprise, everyone sort of goes back to their own little conversations. And that's kind of what's filling up the hallway, which is still very ornate, right? Just like all other parts of the observatory.
Kind of stepping back in bemusement at what's happened here. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes.
A party?
Yes, indeed. And the year?
World's Fair.
Right before you, right in front of you, if you're sort of facing towards the east hallway, a figure materializes. She has her back turned to you, and she's walking away from you. Imagine her really just like blinking into existence. Dr. Sung, you will kind of instantly, even from the back, kind of see the similarity between the portrait on the wall that you were inspecting and this person. And again, everyone yells, "Surprise!" Kind of exactly the same as you just heard. The woman who has her back turned to you, you can see she holds onto her chest, and then she goes to mingle with the partygoers.
Was that who I think it was?
Well, I'm sure that was Ursula.
Well, let's go find out. And she strides into the room,
Great.
trying to cut in front of her.
Yeah, you can do so. As you enter, Julia, you will. It's very noticeable that the party exists in a particular space, and there are figures moving in and out of that space. And as they move out of that space, they vanish, and then they sort of reappear again. It's ghostly, really. I mean, everyone looks wholly manifest, but as they exit, what you can almost kind of clearly, draw lines to demarcate the area. Yeah, they appear and disappear, and yeah, you cut through.
I think we should be very, very careful how we proceed here.
Well, it sounds like Julia is gonna talk to Ursula, or who you presume to be Ursula. Dr. Sung, anything you would like to do?
Yeah, I want to have a look to see if I can find Professor Osterman.
Okay, great. And then Spencer, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I was initially wanting to go to one of the towers, but I think this is more interesting now. And
You
I'm
don't even know
going
what's
to
in the towers.
I'm going to very, very cautiously kind of make my way. But what I want to do is, rather than trying to talk to anybody, I want to try and find one of these sort of I don't know how you describe it. One of these points of where it changes from what I would expect to see to this other scene, and I'm going to try and look at it from various different angles as well. And I'm also curious as to whether the partygoers here, can see me or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to think maybe to them we're like ghosts. Maybe something, there seems to be. It's almost like there's puddles I'm thinking maybe here of different times. But maybe there's more than one of these, and maybe there's been some sort of experiment that's had an unpredicted side effect, and there's little pockets here in the building of different times, and I'm a bit worried about ending up in one and not being able to get out of it.
Fair enough.
So,
Flint, what about you?
I think I'm with Spencer.
Okay.
Also looking at that sort of stuff.
All right. Let's go in reverse order then. Flint, Spencer, here's what you find as you sort of look at the edge of this space, if you will. You find it's 1920s, so we all, I think, have in our heads sort of these old school movie projectors, right? Very bulky cameras. You see things like that embedded in the walls here. They're sort of high up, casting down. And yeah, looking into the lenses, you see kind of light, like they are displaying an image. Sure. As you do that, maybe Flint is the one to sort of see the effects of this. You kind of cut through people, like parts of them disappear, and you can see their insides.
How very peculiar. It's a sort of a kinematograph type device. I think these things we're seeing are actually being projected images from whatever these are.
Yeah, and there's about a dozen of these things, 6 on each side. Dr. Sung, as you make your way through the guests, you hear a lot of, it's a party, so there's a lot of conversations going on. You do not see Dr. Osterman, nor do you see anyone who you would presume to be Walter Kreuz based on the portrait. You don't find either of those individuals. I gave you the second bit of information just because it's disappointing to not find Osterman. But what you do hear, as you're sort of looking around, and maybe even experimentally asking, if anyone has seen these people, because the guests do respond. They will interact with you. You will hear side conversations remarking on the notable absence of Walter Kreuz, who is, after all, responsible for all of this. But, perhaps he hasn't... the guests are aware that it has been several years, but he may still be recovering from, his accident, and it's sad, but fortunately they have all of this. You also get the sense, like, all of the people here are highly educated. Like, these are fellow scientists and academics, so the conversation is quite elevated.
Yeah, I'm going to ask someone what today's date is.
Oh, well, it is... sorry, want to give you a specific date, if there is a specific date to be given. It is obviously 1897, and it is going to be... What does my timeline say? It's going to be, we'll say June 7th, 1897.
Okay.
Sort of surprised at that question, and you will be kindly suggested, like, maybe slow down on the champagne, dear. Bridget, Julia is standing before Ursula Kreuz. Ursula Kreuz sees you, smiles, extends a hand, and says, I don't believe we've been introduced.
She doesn't take her hand as she looks at her. She says, "We have not, but you are to be congratulated."
Well, thank you very much. It's mostly my brother's efforts, but I share in his success.
And is he present?
He is not feeling well. You can, if you want to roll psychology, you can, but there's obviously a lot that's going across her face when she says that. And, someone else, they'd probably just accept that. Julia would know, like, that's maybe true, but that's not the truth.
So this new character is going to go for it. She's going to look over to her right, her left, and kind of pinpoint where everyone else is in the room and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And she says, "That's regrettable. I do hope he recovers soon. Something peculiar happens this year. I think you die."
Her eyes go wide.
And then she's playing with boundaries right now. She's gonna attempt to just go right across her throat with a blade.
Okay. Yeah, you slit the throat of Ursula Kreuz, who looks horrified. Um, it seems like she says something, but you can't hear her over the sound of her blood bubbling out from her mouth. She collapses. Guests are horrified. There are screams, champagne flutes crash, and there's sort of this crescendo of smashing glass and screams. And then everyone's yelling, "Surprise!" And Ursula Kreuz comes in through the double doors. There's no corpse at your feet. Yeah, guests are kind of going around you so as not to bump into you. Everyone else, you guys will have seen this. I don't know how you react at one of your companions murdering a maybe ghost, but that's up to you.
Possibly make a sanity roll.
If you believe a sanity roll would be appropriate, I am always happy for my players to invite sanity rolls. So,
I'm quite used to Julia doing this at this point in time.
That's fair for you. But Spencer, go ahead and give us a roll.
Yeah, no, this is not my Julia. This is not the actions my Julia would have taken. Well, no, the Julia that I know.
Yeah. Oh, that looks like a fail.
Yeah, I succeed.
If you failed, you are going to lose just a single point because that's apparently what I roll on D3s.
Okay. Yeah,
It helps that the blood and the viscera that just seems to emanate from her corpse just very quickly disappears.
What? That was rather extreme, Miss Chase. Do you not think?
Extreme in which way?
Killing the young woman that you saw so callously and in such an offhand manner. Is this the sort of thing you do on a regular basis?
She looks at you with just this blank face. She's like, "Did you not say they were projections?" She's clearly not dead. She's still walking around.
You interacted with her. Perhaps I was wrong.
I just proved you correct. Shall we? And she just walks away from you.
Just kind of look at the others and...
You have to be careful what you say around Julia. I feel it's very odd that your Julia, or whatever Julia you're used to, does not have these personality traits. This is quite normal Julia behavior.
No, not at all. She was somewhat traumatized by her experiences within the Pythagoras cult, she did not behave in any way like that at all. I mean, she was.
Shall we continue, preferably without any more stabbing?
Yeah, just don't, say your hypothesis to Julia unless you want to see them immediately test it out.
So it sounds like you are proceeding, but I don't necessarily know in which direction.
Al, that was the best line ever. Yeah. If that could go on a T-shirt.
Just as a matter of interest, the Spencer Raceland that you know, what kind of a fellow is he?
He's a wizard. It's like you. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just there's infinite possibilities, and but honestly, you're very close.
So he wasn't the sort of person to kill somebody to prove a hypothesis.
No, if there's infinite possibilities, then you got to understand that there are universes that are so close to ours that are just off by one little thing.
I understand that. I was merely curious as to what your experience. Have you met other members of the esoterics from other universes, dimensions, whatever you might call it?
I don't believe so. Like I said, it could be subtle. Apparently, the difference between your Julia and this Julia is extreme. I think the difference between your Flint and me is more slight.
Oh, you all have not seen what other possible cards you could have drawn.
Um, well, yes. Well, perhaps this is a conversation for another time. We have possibly more pressing matters to deal with just now. However, it is something that I would like to discuss with you in greater depth, if I may, later.
Of course.
I'm sure we could put some kind of very interesting paper together, but for now, let's see what
For
we can
now,
find.
we are in a slightly dangerous situation.
You say.
There is some kind of creature outside, perhaps, and this hallway full of, well, whatever this hallway is full of.
I wonder what happens if I'm going to try and sit these. I mean, I'm assuming they're a little bit like kind of camera lenses
Yeah.
pointing to. I'm going to see what happens if I can sort of alter the angle that they're pointing at. Does it disrupt this image?
Yeah, it does. You can. How much force do you want to use?
Well, I don't want to break them.
Okay. If you're not going to break them, I mean they're pretty firmly mounted. Maybe you could displace them, but in that case they wouldn't go back to the original location.
Well, in that case, I'm going to see if I can find something to kind of cover up some of them with, just
Sure.
just to see exactly how that affects the image. Is
Yeah, you
it
can-
clumps of it sort of disappear and people walk in and out of it? And
Mhm.
that kind of...
Yep.
Okay. But this is fascinating. It is a projection, but it's a projection you can interact with. This is beyond known science. Well, Dr. Soon, perhaps you can assert whether or not this is something that is possible with today's understanding.
Well, I think this is quite beyond what we can do at present. But then I'm not entirely clear on what the present is right now.
Right.
Well, where is your exploration taking you next then?
Do you still wish to visit that hallway where the north and south towers were?
I would like to, yes. I would
Yes.
like to look at to see if I can see what caused the explosions.
Is this just the East Hall, or is this kind of taking up the storage rooms in the laboratory too, or are those still things that we haven't seen yet?
You haven't seen them. You've not gone into the storage rooms or the laboratory, but you can also just keep going east towards the Zodiac Hall.
Up to the party, you know.
Well, it sounded like there was a strong push in favor of checking out the towers, so I will go with that first.
That's fine. Learn the
And
storage
that
rooms
is,
in the laboratory on the way back.
Yep.
Exactly. So as you proceed further east towards the Zodiac Hall, you hear a sound that probably would be familiar to Flint most of all, to the extent it's familiar to any of you. It sounds like an air raid siren. You know, like the kind that would come across in the First World War if there were bombers overhead or if there was incoming fighter craft. That's what you hear. It sounds it's just a wail, and it rises in volume and then it quiets down again. Welcome to the Zodiac Room. The Zodiac Room has a lovely ceiling with astronomical signs of all the different 12 different signs. It's quite expansive. It's got pillars, again, each one sort of dedicated to one of the particular symbols. I'll put the ceiling. There's no significance to it, but it's a nice little bit of art. I'll put that in the notes in case you're curious. And so the thing that probably catches your eye most of all, sort of inescapably in this hall, is that in the eastern part, all the way on the eastern side, there are a number of spotlights. They're not on. They're kind of freestanding. Imagine what you might see on a movie set, for example, right? And they're all pointing at a curtain. The curtain is like a half circle, and it goes pretty much from floor to ceiling. So it's a quite long curtain, deep reds, on the curtain, kind of goes all the way down to the ground. And so it's a half circle, spotlights are pointing at it. And you see cables, thick cables that actually undulate a little bit, emerging from underneath the curtain and running to the north and to the south, where they disappear respectively behind a set of double doors that are just slightly ajar to kind of let the cables in, but they're mostly closed.
So I'm kind of assuming then that these are power cables and there's some sort of generator behind these curtains.
Yeah,
So
that could be. Yeah.
I want to have a look at that.
All right. So it sounds like Spencer, you're gonna head over to the curtain.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Everyone else, anything you wish to do, or we good for now?
Just got the curtains. Got
I want to know
the
what's behind them.
yeah. Got curtains, man. I gotta open up those curtains.
Yeah. So Spencer, you open up the curtains, and as you sort of reach, you again hear that air raid siren noise, and it is coming from behind the curtain.
Uh-oh.
And your hand sort of pauses on it.
I will very, very cautiously open the curtains a crack and peep through before I open them any wider.
Your character's actions are yours, but I can well imagine that Spencer might suddenly pull back as though trying to dodge a blow at the sight of something very quickly moving and expanding in his field of vision, as though coming towards him. When someone shadow punches you, right? You sort of instinctively twitch away. That's what happens. But instead of there being a connection between your face and whatever it is you're seeing, there's a loud thump, the way you might hear on the inside of the glass enclosure if you were to pound on it. And the thing you see, Spencer, is a tank, a glass tank. It's massive, maybe 12 feet tall, fully hidden behind this curtain and filled with that purplish smoke that reminds you of smoke you saw just in the past few days, except it's thick. It's just filled up. And emerging and disappearing within that smoke are these tendrils, these pseudopods. They look sort of slimy, maybe octopoid, and they slam against the glass. Then they disappear. As you keep looking, there is an eye, a fully black eye that kind of emerges from the smoke. It seems to be attached to one of these tendrils, and then it disappears again, and you see an insectoid wing maybe just briefly flutter, and then it too is gone, and then you see a hand slam against the inside of the glass enclosure.
A human hand.
A human hand, and get pulled back. And
Ugh.
it is someone's left hand. And because you all inspected the hand quite closely that Virginia Peasley kissed, it is a hand you recognize. And then it's gone. And you can all make me sanity rolls upon seeing this.
Yes, I'm absolutely. I take a step back in horror and let go of the curtain and sort of turn to the edge.
Failed.
Succeeded.
Oh,
Made it. Just made it.
Sanity rolls across the board. If you succeed at your sanity roll, you lose just a single point of sanity. If you did not, let's see. You are losing 5.
Oh! Whoa, whoa, whoa.
ouch.
The magic number.
That is a magic number. That was
Ouch.
what my d6 showed. If I had been rolling a d3, it would have been a 1. But because I was rolling a d6, it would have was a 5. Because that's how it works, right? If you failed your roll, you may go ahead and make me intelligence checks. If you're familiar with Call of Cthulhu rules, you are hoping to fail this intelligence check so that you do not comprehend what it is you are seeing.
I have passed.
You have passed. Excellent. Okay, if you failed, then you will emit a scream of horror. You may jump back along with Spencer, but you are otherwise, disturbed, disquieted, and may react in whatever way you choose, but you get to choose how you react. If you made your sanity roll, you comprehend that what you are looking at is some strange combination of something unexplainable and Adhemar Osterman. And that knowledge just fills you with with feeling you cannot describe, and that sort of takes over your synapses and takes judgment away from you. So I believe we have only one who has reached this stage. Dr. Sung, is that right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Would you go ahead and give us a 10-sided die roll?
2.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll a d3 if you would, Dr. Song.
2.
Dr. Sung, you see this thing and you hear that wailing sound. It's coming from inside the tank, and then you don't hear it. Then that sound is gone, but it's sort of like the sound when you have earplugs in. You don't hear anything. This thing seems to have deafened you. You know, you can maybe see Spencer like turning around, checking on you, asking if you're all right, or maybe, you know, screaming what the fuck. But you don't hear him. You're completely deaf.
Mike. It's so good.
I didn't even need to mute myself. I didn't make any
Psychosomatic disability. We got lucky on the old Bounce of Madness table.
After the game, I'm happy to share with you sometimes when the rolls went slightly differently.
No.
So the curtain drops back. You still, however,
Wait,
except for Dr. Song, hear the wail and the thump, 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 thump. Very aggressive, but random.
I'll be stepping back and covering my ears. Not that I think that's going to do anything, but it might make me feel better.
Yeah. I mean, you're fine. You're not hearing any of this.
Is the curtain's back? I'm going to put the curtain back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then suggest that we get out of here.
Wait. Dr. Osterman's in there. Can't just leave him there.
Whatever. If Dr. Osterman is in there, then Dr. Osterman's done. And there's no way that's the Dr. Osterman that we remember meeting in Chicago yesterday.
There's something in there with him, but we have to get him out of there before. I mean, he's still alive. You saw his hand.
Dr. Sung, as you see everyone sort of, and I think Julia also maybe would see this, as Dr. Sung watches this conversation, and Julia can hear the conversation, a lot of gesturing, but you will think back to that stream of particles that you saw in the entrance hall. Well, it was coming from the eastern hall, right? It was the stream of particles. And while you have successfully avoided it, because you know where to look for it, it was still in the east hall, it was still there. And it is actually here as well. It is coming from behind the curtain. You're not sure if it's coming from inside the tank, or maybe, you didn't look very long. Obviously, the curtain immediately went back. But it seems to be originating from some part of that, the device or the thing or Osterman or whatever.
I think we should attempt to dismantle this thing, whatever it is, and get him out of there.
Stu, I don't think we can handle that thing.
Well, perhaps this power is going to it, not from it. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can see where these two cables or whatever they are attaching in. I think it's going to probably mean drawing the curtains again.
Okay.
But
yeah, and I'll describe that to you, and then I'm going to turn to Dr. Sung for what she's doing, because she may just stay in place while she can't hear anything, or she may decide, I don't know. But that should be answered while she still can't hear anything, right? Because she can't hear any of the plans you might be making. So Spencer, you pull back the curtain either a lot or a little. You can see that along the base of this glass enclosure, there's a mechanism. Lots of dials, buttons. There is actually a brass tube, kind of a horn, like you would... I forget what the music recorders are called of this time, but that's kind of what you would see coming out, and that's where the stream of particles is coming as well. So it is coming from the machinery that is before you. In terms of the cables themselves, they seem to enter into the tank. It's filled with fog, so you can't really see any more than that. But those are the cables that then wind their way to the north and south and disappear through the double doors going into the towers.
So the cable's just going to go over and into the tank rather than fixing.
Oh no,
onto
no,
it.
they attach to it.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I see a way of disengaging them?
Yeah, you think maybe if you rotated them and pulled, or if you chopped through them, you know, you can imagine many possible ways of decoupling it if that's what you wanted to do. But Dr. Song, you can't hear any of this, though you can see it. Is there anything you would like to do, or are you going to remain in place?
I want to follow the cables down to one end of the hall.
Okay. Are we heading to the north or south?
I'm going to roll a dice to
Yeah,
look at
fair.
random.
The
Odds
old
for me.
D2.
Yeah.
I'm going south.
Going south, excellent. We heard from Spencer what he was doing. He was examining these cables. Julia, what about you?
With Spencer's the whole empathetic thing is irritating her. That we gotta save him. That's terrible. So she is gonna move over to Flint and says, if he's releasing that thing, I will be in a separate room, and I am going to head. Probably, I'll go to the South Tower too, because that gets me out of the Zodiac Hall.
Sounds good. Yeah, you see Dr. Sung sort of like walking off, seemingly a little in a daze. She might still be a bit out of it. And Flint, what about you?
I think I'm gonna start talking to Spencer. Be like, Spencer, we don't know what that does yet. We don't know what that does.
No, I'm just trying to ask. I'm not going to disengage it or anything like that. I'm just trying to ascertain exactly how it's fixed onto it.
That's good. That's good. We shouldn't make rash actions. You know, we're men of science or magic in your case.
Well,
Wizard.
I'm a wizard, apparently. Many have said that magic is merely science that we don't understand as science yet. So
That's how I think of it.
I'm a scientific magician.
Exactly.
Scientician.
Julia, Dr. Song, welcome to the South Tower. The South Tower clearly was at one point an observatory space in its own right. There would have been a telescope in here. It would have just been on a smaller scale. All of that's been removed. You can still see braces, you know, where equipment might have hung, but the tower itself is just empty. Standing in the middle of it is a device that looks familiar based on a sketch that you saw previously, and that is in fact what the cables are connecting to. So there is a pyramidal, maybe 4-foot tall device here with lots of dials and knobs and you know, lights that flash in different colors with a gem at the top. The machine is active. You have a sense that it is active based on one of the lenses that are on it casting a projection on the far wall. So sort of, you know, when you walk into the tower, there's the device between you and then a projection being cast against the wall. And in that projection, you see what you think might be this tower. In fact, it looks familiar. It looks similar. There is a it's not quite a pentagram. Maybe it's a hexagram. It's difficult to see from this angle, but there's some kind of in chalk diagram done in the center of the room, in the center of which is the woman you saw at the party looking, that appears to be Ursula Kreuz. She is in the center of this the circle. She is kind of almost looking at you. She's looking outwards. She has well, it looks like a key that she is holding. A silver key that is attached to a necklace that goes around her neck. She is kind of holding it up in a beseeching manner that to Julia would be very familiar. Dr. Song, of course, for you, all of this is still a silent movie. But for Julia, you will hear Ursula Kreuz, and she will sound similar to how she did at the party, and she will say. She will be speaking in a language that you do not immediately understand, but then there are words that you do understand based on sort of your past research on this. And she will finally switch to English, and she will call out a supplication to Uma at Tawil, most ancient and prolonged of life. I beseech you, come to me, help me, tell me whether my brother is still himself. Tell me where he is. I beseech you, Yog-Sothoth. And she holds up the silver key.
She will call over her shoulder to Flint that he might want to come see this. And moving over to her and squatting right in front of her. Is there any way that I can touch her to see if this is real or a projection?
You're certainly able to go up to the projection if that's what you would like to do.
Please.
Yeah. All right. So you're standing right in front of it, and there we go. And tell me, how are you testing this hypothesis?
At first, she's just squatting. If she's kneeling, she's doing the awkward squat with the dog curiosity head turns, and then she's just going to reach out and just try to brush her shoulder.
Okay. You reach in. You can't reach Ursula Kreuz all the way. You would need to get closer if you were to actually be able to touch her. But as your fingertips sort of touch the projection, and the wall does not stop your fingertips. They keep going. And you see Ursula Kreuz's eyes like widen, and she sort of has a manic look because whatever she thinks she's doing, she thinks she's, succeeding at it. But Julia, actually, Julia, you're probably too focused on this. Dr. Sung is in a better position because she can't hear a damn thing. Dr. Sung, Julia's not noticing this, but you have the luxury of kind of walking around a bit, and you see Julia's fingertips like enter the projection, like just go through and not be stopped by the wall against which the projection is cast. But in observing that, you also see a shadow, not on your end. This is in the room where Ursula Kreuz is, but you see a man that looks like Walter Kreuz from the portrait, appearing through a doorway, and he seems to be moving behind Ursula Kreuz, who is unaware of his presence.
Does he look malicious?
He looks... well, go ahead and give me a... give me an intelligence check.
That's an extreme success.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Well, then you're going to get a good bit of information. First, is he looking malicious? No. But that should not be comforting, because he has sort of an alien expression, sort of very deadpan. He moves stiffly. One of his eyes is completely black.
Ugh.
And in his motions, you see something familiar. And you have no doubt that this man, Walter Kreuz, the way he's moving, identical to the way Professor Osterman was moving.
Yeah.
Flint, Spencer, you've been called out to. There's one thing I will share with you. As you were examining the tank in greater detail. I'll put at the bottom of the notes. I meant to share this earlier, but this is a rough sketch of the thing that you see in the tank.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay.
So, for what it's worth, what would both of you like to do?
Lights at the bottom or something, or
Those are its eyes.
Lives her eyes.
Yeah.
I guess my friends are calling for help. I'll come shotgun at the ready.
Okay.
Yes.
Spencer, you
I'll
see
follow
Flint
along.
head off.
I'll be behind the man with the shotgun.
Okay, excellent. If you're going to be around a man with a shotgun, that's the best place to be.
Behind.
Yeah. You enter the South Tower. Just as you see, Julia's Chase's entire hand is now in this projection. Julia, Dr. Song, what would you like to do?
I
Ursula
want
is
to
still
shout a warning.
holding out her key beseechingly and shouting with great enthusiasm. Yes, yes!
I'm shouting, that's not Walter, that's something else.
Okay. She doesn't seem to react to that if that was directed at Ursula, though everyone else can hear it.
Oh my gosh!
I'm directing it at everyone who can hear it.
Yeah.
Would be everyone except me.
Right.
Except for you, yeah, poor baby.
Julia?
Hearing that warning versus the whole let me do the steady approach, she's gonna make as quickly as she can a quick snatch for the key to snag it and get back out.
Okay. Go ahead and what do you think you should roll? Fighting brawl or sleight of hand or...
She's trying to give up the key, right? It's not like I have to pry it from her.
Well, she's holding it, but there's a necklace that connects to the key. So if you're just like grabbing the key, you would need to break that necklace.
So probably a fighting brawl then?
That would be one way of going about it, yeah.
Yeah, I know this character's about to end up in a projection, right? So 31. So for her, that is a just regular success.
Okay. Spencer, Flint, and Dr. Song, you see Julia kind of go halfway into the portal. You can see her through the projection. And she grabs a hold onto the silver key. Ursula Kreuz looks confused. Whatever she might have thought Uma Atawil, who she is beseeching, would look like, this is probably not it. I mean, like there's some regalia that Bridget described earlier. So didn't think it would be a chick. Cool. Okay. Gentlemen, you will see Walter Kreuz's eyes sort of go wide as he realizes what is suddenly happening. And he will quickly run to his sister and try and grab hold onto the necklace. However, with the success of Julia Chase, Julia, you grab the key. You rip it, and the necklace sort of breaks from the force of your pull. And you see Walter is not going for the silver key. He has his hands around Ursula Kreuz's neck now.
Oh.
And while Ursula was calling out beseechingly, she's no longer forming sensible words as her airflow is cut off. Let's go around and see what everyone is doing. I think, Julia, we need to begin with you. You are holding onto the silver key. You've got it. You're halfway through the portal. You're in two versions of the South Tower right now. What would you like to do?
I'm trying to vacate back out through the entry of the portal one with the rest of the party.
Awesome.
As quickly as possible.
Dr. Song?
I'm going to try and pull Julia out of the portal, although I'm not sure that's going to be difficult since she's already trying to leave.
Excellent. Flint?
I got my shotgun ready, and I'm waiting for them to get out of the portal, and if anything comes through, then I'm going to...
Sensible. Spencer, anything you wish to do?
Yes, I'm going to say, Mr. Larson, prevent that bounder from strangling his sister, for goodness sake. Just hit him on the head with the butt of your shotgun or something. And then just basically kind of flap around ineffectually.
Excellent, excellent. Flint, does that change any action you're wishing to take?
No, there are a million different Ursulas, and they've all died an infinite number of times. An infinite number of Ursulas have also survived. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you come from the Callus universe, you two.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sanity roll there, Flint.
I pass.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh.
you lose nothing. That's just the way you think now. It's probably a good thing, Dr. Song, that you helped pull Julia, because Julia by herself is sort of just scrambling, kind of doggy walking back with you pulling on her. It goes much faster, which is good because the portal suddenly, or the projection, suddenly fails.
Oh.
You hear the device behind you spark. The room suddenly gets much brighter, and the gemstone at the top breaks, just explodes, and the projection just winks out of existence, and the last thing all of you see is Ursula Kreutz's eyes kind of bulging out of her face, as she is asphyxiated. Oh, hey, Dr. Sung, you suddenly realize you can hear everyone's deep breathing.
That's quite a relief.
Thank you, Dr. Sung. She stands up. Do I still have the key?
You still have the key.
She will toss it on the ground towards Dr. Raceland and says, "Here, ponder on that."
Pick it up and examine it. What am I looking at here?
I will show you.
Fascinating.
And there you go, bottom of the notes. Again, were we at a physical table, you would have a little handout.
Oh.
That's remarkable workmanship.
You ain't
Yeah.
right.
Take my little eye piece out again. I think there's something inscribed on the barrel. What does this say? Am I right in thinking there's something?
There is some writing. To understand what it says, though, you would need to make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Alrighty. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, by all means.
There was a chance.
Come on, make it, make it, make it.
Okay. So Spencer's looking at this, and he's trying to examine it, and as he does so, it slips through his fingers and falls through a crack between the tables.
Oh, God. I'm going to kill him.
No, it was nothing. It was nothing important.
I'm going to start trying to get it back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was-
Go ahead, Dr. Sung, give us a luck roll.
Failed.
The key has
Damn it!
disappeared. It should be there. You can see inside the crack where it fell. The masonry is sort of chipped away, so, hard to get to, sure. But it should be there. It is not.
Whoops.
Well, we'll just go get the one for the North Tower then, it's fine. Or we'll wait for the projection to go again.
Portrait say bearers of the silver key or silver keys.
Silver keys.
Keys,
Local.
there's no.
Right, North Tower. And this time, Mr. Raceland is not allowed to hold it.
Welcome.
Bluster. But it wasn't. I don't.
Welcome back to the Zodiac Hall. There's going to be a thing you guys notice. The thing inside the enclosure, still there, still very upset based on the sound of the thumping against the enclosure.
I'm not looking.
That stream of particles, it was unbroken before, right? It was just sort of a continuous, dust particles floating through air. Now there's gaps.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
That might be good.
You think?
Let's get to the North Tower.
Welcome to the North Tower. There is a projector. It is active. Projection is coming from the lens against the far wall. It shows a desert. As you continue watching, there is. You've all seen the legs of insects. It's difficult to tell the scale, but this leg seems to take up most of the projection space, and then it's gone, and then it's replaced by another similar insect leg, of which you're only seeing a part. So either we are very close to this thing, or it's very big. Then that too is gone. Then the image changes, and you see a city. It looks like it must be an ancient city, because everything is in ruins. But for those of you who are, for those characters of yours who have resided in Chicago for a long time, there are some telltale signs that this is not an ancient city. And then the image is gone, replaced by fire, just fire. And that too is gone. And you're looking at a mostly desert again. You see that there are some buildings sort of mostly buried by sand, but other things. And you see, again, those insect legs, but this time they are further away. So far, in fact, that you can't quite make out the details, but you think what you're looking at is the upper half of like a skyscraper. And this thing is just going up the side of it. You can all make me sanity rolls.
Well, is there a man in the game or beating his hands on the beach shouting, "You did it!
Yeah,
Damn
you
your
damn
well."
dirty apes. Damn dirty insectoid creatures.
I just failed on that.
If you succeeded, no loss. If you failed, I'll roll a d3, which usually has resulted in a 1, and this time it'll be a 2. 2-point sanity loss. Dr. Sung, did you succeed or fail your sanity roll?
Fail.
Okay. So if you would roll me a 10-sided die, please.
8.
8. Thank you. Go ahead and roll me a d3.
3.
Dr. Sung is screaming again.
Dr. Sung! Dr. Sung! Kind of grab her, put my hands on her shoulders. Dr. Sung! Slap her across the face.
You slap her. She continues screaming at you.
That didn't work.
She's like intentionally screaming at you, Spencer. Almost like she's shouting a warning or trying to communicate with you, except the only thing she's able to say is, "Ah!"
Woman, somebody do something. Dr. Sung, calm yourself. It's all right. It's just a picture show. It's just a moving picture. That's all it is. Dear. Not quite sure what to do.
My wife informs me that my scream upset our dog.
Puppy was like, no!
I think our dog just used the X card. It was like, nope, not doing it, not cool. So Spencer and Dr. Sung are occupied. Flint, Julia, what about you?
I'm looking for anything that I see in this projection.
Yeah, in the projection,
Yeah.
no, you'll just see these apocalyptic visions cycling through. And the room itself, again, just contains the cables going to the projector. What I'll call a temporal projector, if you will. Yeah, that's all you see. Julia?
See. Yeah, sorry.
Flint, how inappropriate in this particular dimension would I be to throw Dr. Raskin into the projection and look for the other keys since he lost one?
So if you wanted to do that, it would require Mike's permission.
No, and we're good with that. She wouldn't do it. Bridget wouldn't do that to the player. That's me in character talking to Flint.
Well, it's like Spencer wouldn't like that in our dimension.
Yeah, but
I also wouldn't like it.
Spencer in our dimension wouldn't have lost a key that I almost died trying to retrieve, though.
He might have. Sometimes he had bad luck.
I'm right here.
All the while, Dr. Song is screaming at you.
Yes, all right, I dropped the key, but I didn't make it disappear. I'm not that kind of a magician. I'm a wizard.
A wizard!
Apparently. I'm not a stage magician, sawing a woman in half and whatnot and so forth. It disappeared for some other reason. Perhaps it would have disappeared even while I was holding it, while you were holding it.
Deadpan glare as you're holding the screaming Dr. Sung.
Yeah. Dr. Sung is probably going to be coughing up a little bit of blood right now, just
Oh.
because, you know,
Oh my gosh.
she's tearing out her vocal cords effectively.
Find a way of sitting her down. Typically, find her a glass of water.
Yeah, he's gonna really try to look in Dr. Soon's eyes. Like, Dr. Soon, you gotta stop it. You gotta get your hold of yourself.
I will accept a psychoanalysis roll, or if someone wants to try and make a hard psychology roll to change her state.
Well, the hard psychology roll is gonna work better than psychoanalysis.
All right, go for it, Flint.
Physically, she's very small, so
Yeah.
not too hard to push around.
Well, I avoided fumbling.
I tried to and was just shy of fumbling as well.
I'm sorry, Dr. Sung.
Can I give it a shot as well?
Yeah, by all means. I mean,
I'll see
what
what
could
I
you do?
get.
Make things worse?
I'll spend 1 point of luck, and I'll make that a psychology roll.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Dr. Sung, you lost some time. You're not sure what you've been doing for the past couple of minutes, but here you are, and Spencer's speaking to you in a very reasonable manner.
Oh, so your cheek hurts.
Or he's slapping you. I don't know.
I tried that. I think when he slapped you, he kind of did a very, very half-hearted slap because quite the dumb thing, but this is what you're supposed to do when someone's in hysterics.
The important thing is that Dr. Sung is able to act again.
Yay!
Even if what I'm currently doing is spitting blood.
I mean,
Have my handkerchief.
This is why we don't scream.
What do you mean, scream? Why does my throat
You've
hurt?
just been screaming. Yeah. It's an infinite number of universes. There's one in which Chicago goes down. There's a lot of them. There's an infinite number of them where Chicago goes down.
All civilizations fall, I suppose, eventually.
Yeah.
Any sign of that key?
no.
We haven't seen anything. Oh no! It sounds like we can disrupt this thing. I'm sure we got those. We got what are they? Pipes or I can't remember what you would call them. Cables.
Cables.
Yeah. Pipes.
It works.
It works.
Yeah, I don't know how like time travel protons are supposed to be transported by pipe or by cable.
Yeah.
A cube, I think.
There you go, yeah.
But I guess we're not really seeing anything else. I guess we could try to go in there, but it seems quite precarious.
Do we think that the crystal in the other room, when it exploded, broke, whatever happened to it, do you think that was was overheating or something? It was whatever power was going through it was too much for it, or do you think it just reached the end of its life and it's somehow...
It might have been overheating since we were changing it. We were changing what happened.
I'm gonna go back to I want to go back and have another look at the tank.
Yeah.
And just see if I can see whether there's anything different about it.
Well, the particle stream is as described. It is reduced. you can go ahead and give me a sorry. If you would like to examine further, I would accept an electrical repair roll, or for that matter, a mechanical repair roll, or knock yourself out if you want to make a operate heavy machinery roll to
Oh.
get more information.
Electrical repair roll.
Okay.
I know how to put I know how to wire up a bedside lamp.
Okay.
Mr. Doom, you're a wizard.
I am a wizard after all. Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that's well over. I can't. This is far too complex for me. Yeah.
But do we see the gym there? The same sort of gym on the projector?
The same kind of gym.
Yeah, like we had on the other one where it broke out.
I mean, you think that you could reach through this portal just like with the other projector.
Oh.
So, am I right in thinking that the device that we've seen a picture of that was in Professor Osterman's laboratory?
Yeah, there's actually been 2 of them so far.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna fucking reach through the fucking projector then.
Okay.
Can't be in the North Tower all day. I got shit to do.
Okay. Are you going through or just like reaching a hand through?
Gonna reach a hand through.
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
All right.
No.
I'm lucky, bitch.
Okay. You feel sort of a vibration down your arm, and you pull your arm back right before the image changes.
Ooh.
What's the image change to?
Let's say burning Chicago.
Okay. So it's cycling through these things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to have a look and see this stream of particles. Where does it seem? Is it's sort of flowing up through the air, through the corridor we just came through?
That's right. Yeah. All the way to the west hall.
I'm wondering if we should possibly follow this stream of particles and see where it takes us.
At least I'm not sure what to do here yet. And I'm not opposed to coming back here and doing something, but I'm not quite sure what I would be doing with it here. I'm not sure which to jump into. I'm not sure which to go out of.
There's another whole tower.
And then we got still the storage in the room in the laboratory.
We can cycle back to here.
Miss Chase,
Yes.
a question for you. When you dispatched young Miss Kreuz, she wasn't by any chance wearing a necklace with a chain with a key hanging from it, was she?
The key you dropped?
Well, in theory, a key of the same nature as
Yeah,
the key.
not visibly, Julia. She was wearing a necklace, so maybe it was hanging underneath her clothes. That's possible.
Possible.
Yeah.
Can I go try to fish out the key before we leave this area?
So the problem is not fishing out the key. The problem is that the key disappeared. It actually
It actually just disappeared. Got it.
It's quite the fumble.
Yes, you see, I didn't fumble a push roll, so it can't have been my fault.
Couldn't have been my fault. Wow. Best defense ever.
I am hearing that you guys are proceeding west, returning the way you came through the entrance hall to check out the west hall, essentially following the stream of particles, which now has sort of been a bit disrupted. Welcome to the west hall. There is no party here. I'm sorry. No more celebrating in the West Hall.
Well, I wanted to check out the storage room in the laboratory.
Okay. So the storage room is just stocked full of equipment, much of which you don't recognize. There is tubing and wiring and large bits of metal and small bits of metal and control panels. It sort of looks like a pawn shop for electronics, is what, us modern day people would think of. So yeah, there are tools lying around, but yeah, it's quite a mess. If you wanted to search through it, of course you can. It just depends how much time you want to take.
No. Let's check out the lab.
Okay. Welcome to the lab. The lab contains. So, the lab at first glance appears to be a morgue.
Oh,
2 hatches along one wall give access to a pair of laboratory furnaces, while a third and fourth small door go to a refrigerator and deep freezer. Of these 4 doors, 2 ovens, 2 fridges, one of the oven doors is open. Within, you see a set of notebooks, barely recognizable, having been almost entirely burnt. The second oven is currently active, the temperature dial reading 300 degrees Celsius.
whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe try and turn it off.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe try and turn it off.
Okay, so Flint's going to turn it off. I'll describe the rest of this place, and then if others have actions, they can share them. So the rest of the laboratory consists of various workspaces, complete with burners, crucibles, test tubes, boiling flasks. There is a bookshelf of scientific reference texts, and freestanding shelves fully stocked with all manner of chemicals. And that's kind of what you what is available here. I'll proceed a little bit with what Flint was doing in case it impacts your actions. So Flint, yeah, you can turn off the oven. It will take a while to cool down from the over 600 degrees Fahrenheit that it was. And inside there is a maybe shoebox-sized mirrored box.
What?
What type of box?
A mirrored box. Imagine a box with a mirrored surface on each side. You can sort of see your reflection, maybe, in it, if you withdraw it once the oven cools down.
Yeah, I want to check out that box once the oven cools down. But I also want to check out those notebooks and try and see if I can't read anything, even though they were burnt up.
Well, so tell us, one or the other. Do you want to play with the box or take a look at the notebooks?
We want to do them both. We'll wait for it to cool down.
Okay, so Flint's going to check out the notebooks. Julia, anything you would like to do?
She'll play with the notes in.
Okay, so you'll both take a look at the notes. Dr. Song?
I'm going to have a look at the box, but without
Okay.
touching it.
Sounds good. And Spencer Raceland.
Spencer's had an idea.
Oh.
Things we're not headed all the way through up to the West Pole yet. Spencer's going to a party. And what I'd like to do, because he's kind of got he's obviously we've had the opportunity to watch this show
Yeah.
a couple of times now. We know how long it lasts. We know kind of where the different people are throughout. He is going to sort of crack his knuckles, and he's going to stride into the room just as Ursula is walking in to great applause, and he's going to clap very loudly and walk towards her quickly and say, Madame Ursula, I am so pleased to make your acquaintance. They call me the Great Rislino. I am a conjurer and illusionist par excellence, and if you will allow me, I shall prove and show my worth. And he reached behind her ear and pull a coin from behind her ear, which she's palmed and secreted, and produce it to the admiring audience, he hopes. But while he's doing that, he wants to see if there's a key on the chain around her neck, and I would like to try a sleight of hand to remove it if there is.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand roll, and then something else is also going to happen. Flint, Julia, you check out the notebooks. Yeah, boy, they've gone crispy. If any of you have tried to make props by putting paper in the oven, you know that there's a pretty short span that paper makes it, and this is long past. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of notes, a lot of books, but they are all beyond recognition. Dr. Song, you see the mirrored box. You can see yourself in it. And one. Do you need?
I'm about to head out again.
Okay.
That's all. Love you.
Yeah, the mirrored box, as you regard it, you can pull out sort of almost like a morgue tray to access the oven more easily. As you look in it, symbols appear on its surface. You do not recognize the writing, but as you watch, the symbols change on one end. And then after a period of time, it changes again. And there's sort of a string of these symbols, say a dozen.
So I'll watch them to see if I can make out any kind of pattern.
The
I will do the same with
Yeah.
my cryptography skills.
Yeah, with the high skills that all of you have, no need to roll here. The only pattern that you see is that the symbols change at regular intervals. So say it's always 27 seconds. And then if you watch it for, let's say, 5 minutes, then another symbol will change. And if you were to wait another 5 minutes, that symbol would change again. And it begins to feel to you like some kind of countdown. Spencer, how did that sleight of hand roll go?
Just gonna roll it now.
Oh, okay.
0-5.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. That is an extreme success for me on sleight of hand.
Okay. Well, this is quite challenging for you because it's a necklace, right? So it's a key hanging around her. So to be able to do that without her noticing would require amazing skill. It would require your skill. You remove it. You see her hand instinctively go to her neck, but you're right there. You distract her in some other way, and so her hand lowers, and she doesn't notice. And boy, this key looks very familiar to you. And then just as you sort of are having a moment to celebrate in your mind,
I'm backing away from
yes,
the illusion.
I imagine.
May heaven and damn and bid you adieu, adieu.
The doors into the East Hall open up, and you see Flint and Dr. Sung running through. They do not look good. Flint is missing an arm, like from the elbow down. It's sort of bandaged quite well, but he's clearly lost a lot of blood. He's looking desperate. Dr. Sung is looking haggard, and they are both running, sort of just breaking through guests left and right. And as you get bowled over, they don't really seem to notice you. They're just pushing through the crowd. You see a figure that looks like Walter Kreuz run from amidst the crowd. He wasn't there before, you're quite sure, we established that. Exiting the east hallway eastwards into the Zodiac Hall. Again, champagne flutes, smash. There are shouts of dismay, and your two companions, differently attired, break through and also disappear through the doorway.
Which way did they come? Where did they come from?
They
and go
came
to?
from the west and ran east.
Come from the entrance into the Zodiac Hall,
Yep.
and it looks like Kreutz has gone into the Zodiac Hall as well.
Yep.
Okay.
But really, it's more accurate to say that they winked out of existence because they left the field.
Right. Did they appear to be part of this projection that I walked into, or is this like another projection on top of it?
Seems like another projection.
Right. Okay. I sort of back away from that and head into the laboratory just to see if the people that I was with a few moments ago are still there.
Yeah, they're puzzling over.
Triumphantly hold the key aloft and say, "Ah!"
No, you don't.
Oh, bollocks! I had it! I had the damn thing!
Yeah, you did. And then you left the field.
I mime throwing it onto the ground.
Okay.
Oh my god.
We can get it again!
That's what must have happened the first time.
Yes.
Oh, you should have seen me! Ah, I was a wizard.
I know you are a wizard. El Mago, baby.
Oh, that was my finest work, and that's so frustrating.
Well, Spencer's besides himself, so I'm not going to turn to him for an action. But what would the rest of you like to do?
Well, not to alarm anyone, but I think this little box is counting something down. I think we should get to the other tower.
Yes, perhaps we're short of time.
Not
I
sure
would
what else
agree.
to do. Yeah.
Welcome back to the North Tower. Very similar to the South Tower, except different projection, but same kind of device. Still casting away.
Are we talking the same tower here? Because
I thought were you talking the equatorial room?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, you're heading to the equatorial room. My mistake.
Yes.
Welcome to the West Hall. They're, again, incredibly ostentatious. There is no party here, though there will be shadows. There will be wisps of forms. They are human forms. They are maybe versions of yourselves, maybe versions of partygoers, but they just are like there for a moment and then they fade out of existence. It's very ghostly here. You see versions of yourselves like entering doors, but you know, never are you like able to catch up to them or even interact with them. They are just half wisps of matter. And there is a marble double wide staircase going upwards towards a set of double doors that lead into the equatorial room.
I want to check out the library.
Okay. Flint is going to check out the library. Julia, what about you?
I think I'm gonna have to do library, or I'm gonna do library too.
Okay. Welcome to library as well. Dr. Sung?
I'm going to the equatorial room.
All right. Excellent. And finally, Spencer.
So yeah, Spencer is really torn. He's really torn because he wants to go to the library. It's where he wants to go more than anything else. But he's also kind of aware that there's already two people going into the library, and they're probably just going to get in his way. And Dr. Sung headed up into the danger zone all by herself. And he still feels a little bit kind of self-conscious about the fact that he slaps her, even though she probably doesn't remember or realize that he did. So he's going to kind of look over his shoulder and struggle internally for a moment, and then stomp up the marble steps towards the equatorial room, muttering to himself.
Fair to say that you are sort of following Dr. Sung, since she seemed more determined to go up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Dr. Sung, you can go ahead and give me a spot hidden roll.
That's a fail.
Okay. Dr. Sung, you are going up those stairs. Spencer, you are fairly close behind her, and you are going up those stairs as well. You're sort of maintaining distance. You're not catching up to her as such. Go ahead and give me a spot hidden roll, Spencer.
Okay. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm gonna burn 10 luck and make that a success.
Okay.
Ooh, what a burn!
With that luck burn, you
What a
realize
burn.
that Dr. Sung is moving slowly. She was, you saw her like go up the stairs with determination. You're not sure if she's getting weak knees or not, but she seems to be. Tough to say that she's slowing down. She's just moving slowly.
Right. Okay. I'm kind of imagining myself as a out of game, as I kind of got an idea what might be happening.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I'm Dr. Sung. Wait for me, Dr. Sung. It's happening.
Wow, Dr. Sung, Spencer is speaking fairly high pitched, much faster than you would expect. You can go ahead and give me another spot hidden roll as you are progressing further upwards.
I'm going to try and move faster as well to catch her up if I can.
82, that's another fail.
Okay.
Ugh.
Spencer, you are not catching up to her. And she is just proceeding.
Wait.
Okay, you gonna continue, Spencer?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and catch up to her as best I can, because I'm even more worried now about getting separated.
Okay. Well, don't worry. You're not gonna
Something's
be
happening through here.
not gonna be separated. Julia, Flint, welcome to the library. Um, the library is a spacious area that nevertheless feels cramped amidst the piles of books erected like battlements on desks, tables, and the floor. Disorder gives way to apparent madness on one wall that has been given over to a collage of newspaper articles and handwritten notes. Another of the library's walls is taken up with a chalkboard that has seen much use and is covered in layers of mathematical formulae. Between these two walls, there is a library's worth of books, though all stored vertically rather than horizontally. Flint, what would you like to do?
I'd like to look at the mathematical formulas and see what I can gather that they were calculating here.
Yeah, by all means. Julia, what about you?
Is there anything that I can do number crunchy with accounting in here right now? I'm gonna find a way to use the skill tonight.
Yeah, I will let you do an accounting roll to search through the documents here.
Perfect.
Yeah, go for it. And then, Flint, boy, do you have something like science mathematics or science physics or some other science that might apply?
I have a 50 in mathematics and then a 50 in cipher.
Okay. Boy, it would be good to have Dr. Song here, is your assessment. There is logic to this madness. It is as far as you can tell, and maybe you're benefiting from having spoken to Osterman, but there is a theory in mathematical formula written here that contemplates the very kind of thing that Osterman was describing. This idea of timelines intersecting and what might be necessary to bring that result about.
Can I use my mathematics to essentially reverse the equation?
You can make a mathematics roll, yes.
Of course, it's a hard success.
A hard success is what you would have required. So here is the handout that I can provide you. And I'll just put it at the bottom of the notes. Julia, how did that accounting roll go?
Yeah, she blew it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah.
The things you would find here, Julia, with a failed roll are the things you have already found.
Got it.
So some of those newspaper articles that you already discovered, yep, they're here.
Okay.
Some
Got
of
it.
the other books that were in Osterman's study, also here. So that's cool. All I can tell you, Spencer and Dr. Sung, is you are still going up the steps.
Okay.
Right.
I don't see the handout yet.
Oh. Maybe I did something stupid. I didn't put it far down enough.
It's the Einstein formula.
Yeah, if you scroll
That-
up to the schematics,
That just
it's there.
happened to be the page I was on. I can't actually read
Oh,
it.
there it is. Okay.
And maybe you wouldn't mind reading that for us, Flint.
A complex mathematical formula with certain ritualistic acts. While the ritual is active, the caster stands outside of time and is immune to forces that traverse the fourth dimension. A circle must be drawn and inscribed with certain hypergeometrical formula concerning extrapolations of spherical space. An indeterminate variable stands in for unspecified consequences arising from maintenance of the ritual beyond a particular, though also unspecified, threshold. Additional variables suggest the use of mechanical means and energy sources to supplement the ritual's force.
Interesting.
Well, I'm a humanities guy, but I assume that Flint understands that.
Flint has had to study advanced mathematics, and so if Flint wanted to do it himself, maybe get some help. But you got the basics down.
All right. And that's the formula that I saw. That's the one I was looking for to reverse it.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I can mess with it if someone else is doing it. Okay.
Yep.
All right, gotcha. Gotcha. Cool.
Julia Flint, when you are done in the library and step outside, you are going to see Dr. Sung and Spencer, as you remember them. Nothing has changed. That's totally fine. They are more than halfway up the stairs. They're just a couple of meters from the double doors going into the equatorial room. But they are also not moving. They are mid-step. Dr. Sung should kind of collapse because her foot is like in the air, right, as she's about to take a step. And if you spend quite a bit of time kind of waiting here, you will see them move almost imperceptibly. What you will, however, notice, now that they are sort of in the midst of this, are thick particles of dust hanging in the air all around them. And that stream of particles, disrupted though it is, kind of expanding and getting absorbed as you go further up this staircase.
Flint, I don't want to rush you, but when you have an opportunity, you might want to step outside and see this.
I'm taking a look. I'm thinking. Someone must have cast this formula, or used this ritual, or whatever this thing is, and that must be why they are unable to enter into the equatorial room.
So would that this her calling over? So would that explain them moving in delayed motion?
Yeah, no, I had it out there with you. I'm looking at them.
She gestures up.
Yeah, I think that'll do it.
Yep, I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
Face off, guys.
I think that'll do it, and now it's just a matter of getting them out of there.
Well, they're surrounded by those particles. Do you know a safe way to navigate that?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the fucking handout. I must know.
I'm not going to call for an idea roll. This field is being sustained.
I'm not very sure why.
Yeah, this field is being sustained by this stream of particles. You imagine?
Yeah, we gotta go and take care of these fucking particles. The last one that we saw with the stream, we gotta go take care of the one in the north tower.
North Tower. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right, Julia.
I was deferring to your expertise on this. What do you think they're experiencing? Do you think they think that they're moving in real time? Or do you think they're aware that they're not moving?
Dr. Sung, Spencer, you're so close. I mean, you're going to get there any moment now.
It's all relative, right? Let's go fucking get rid of those cables or pipes or cubes or however time particles travel.
Well, tell me, Julia and Flint, how do you wish to stop the particles?
Well, they got these fucking tubes, right? I guess we go and we try and disrupt the tubes.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to sort of unhook the tubes that are going into the tank?
No, I'm just gonna fucking blast it with my shotgun.
Okay, great.
We are so from the same reality.
There's going to be a couple of things that happen in pretty quick succession here.
All right.
So you blast the cables going to or from the North Tower, depending on your perspective. As soon as you do, thick purple smoke will come out of the cables, which is actually what they are filled with. You will begin coughing. You can make me a Constitution check.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Made it.
Okay, great. So you're going to be able to act normally, which is important. Julia, you're fine. You further, back, so you just see him suddenly enveloped in this purple smoke. And you'll watch the stream of particles just almost immediately stops, like the last few kind of drift on, but no more come. That's the good news. The bad news is that thumping on the glass enclosure, it's no longer a thumping. Now it's the sound of breaking glass.
I might have messed up the ritual.
It's okay. Let's go.
Yeah, let's leave.
The loudspeakers crackle to life. They are not just in the entrance hall. They are elsewhere as well. As you, Julia and Flint, make your way back to the West Hall, you kind of feel hounded. On the one hand, by the wail of the thing inside the glass enclosure, and you hear more glass breaking, and that sound is going to stop as whatever is inside there will get out. But yeah, these loudspeakers kind of activate as you go, and you hear the voice of what you surmise to be Walter Kreuz say, "Can't you see what I'm trying to do? Don't you understand? They have to be stopped." And you make it into the entrance hall. "They are waiting in their black towers," and you make it into the West Hall, "waiting for us to die so they can rise again." You can begin ascending the stairs. "They will sacrifice you, just like they sacrificed her. They will make sacrifices of you all." Dr. Song, Spencer, you make it to the door.
Yay!
You knew you would. I mean, you've just gone up the stairs. And, your companions are probably just in the library. And so you open the doors. And,
We both to each other. Do we appear to be moving at a normal speed now?
yeah, you're both there. You instantly catch up, because that's how physics works. And yeah, you open up the doors to the equatorial room. Maybe you have the vague sense that somewhere glass is breaking, or someone is speaking. But you open up the doors, and well, what you see, we will pick up after a short break, as we enter what, for better or worse, good or bad, is going to be the last part of this scenario.
Well, it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be really bad.
All right, see you all soon.